One-foot-flipper.
Hi, Paige here, the 1 Foot Flipper. We're down in my basement, which I am slowly getting into the sort of order that I want it to be. I really want to get my entire business down in this basement because I have a small house, and right now what's supposed to be the living room is taken up by my desk, the packing station, the cards, and supplies. Most of the stock actually is down here in the basement, but I want to get it all down here. I was hoping maybe I could just have a good year, a great 2 years in a row, and just blow it out and buy a new house, but I thought, oh well, if I did $100,000 in sales last year, maybe I could really kick butt and do $200,000 in sales this year and just get that new house. But that's not happening because I was doing a lot of just selling my best stuff and letting a lot of worse stuff build up. I've got to realize that this is a walk, not a run, so I need to adapt to that. So we're down here in my basement. The stairs come in right here. Reason I mention that is this wire rack here is where I put anything that needs to be carried upstairs, because I cannot myself carry much anything upstairs successfully. I go up and down on my butt. I can carry about one bag as long as there's nothing breakable in it. So I normally put all the orders on these shelves, and then my daughter or my wife will carry them up. And I've recently figured out, to help things, I put some more common shipping supplies that I might run out of. I put them right there at the bottom of the shelf, so if I have to send somebody down to find tape or labels, that they're right there. Now, I keep a large supply of tape and labels upstairs too, but I've still run out and had to send my wife or daughter down to find them, and they can never find them, even with the exact description of where they are, which is not their fault, it's my fault. So I put them exactly where they can find them. And then we've got some examples up there of things I need to stop buying. I need to stop buying large things. Right now, those coolers are sitting on top of that shelf, keeping me from being able to roll that shelf around if I want to. All right, what else have we got in here? We've got records. We've got, behind me, we've got stock shelves, tubs and bins after tubs and bins. Now, what I recently did was went through here and I got rid of every tub that would not fit on my shelves. I had quite a few of them, and technically there are still a few that won't fit on the shelves, but they've still got stuff in them. And I changed it so my stock tubs that are most likely to be accessed are all on the closest wall to the steps, so there's less of a walk to the steps. Still have this steel shelf here, which when I bought this steel shelf, somehow I misplaced the plastic rings that hold it together. My friends and I came up with, basically we duct taped it, and it worked, but it's starting to fail. I have since found and misplaced the plastic rings. So that's something I'm going to have to deal with eventually. You make mistakes like that? I make a lot of mistakes like that. All right, going past the stock shelves, we go around the corner. This is where the more rare items are stored. I've got like seasonal Christmas ornaments with names on them, box after box. Every one of those boxes has hundreds and hundreds of them in it. I have thousands and thousands of Christmas name ornaments, and that's something I'm gonna have to examine if I want to keep doing that or if I want to bulk them out to somebody else. It's not that they don't make money. They make money every year. I get several $1,000s out of those ornaments every year, but my space is limited and they take a lot of space. So a lot of space, because see, all those brown boxes up there are also more cases of ornaments. I might want to sell those off to somebody else who just has more space than me and can be okay with them eating up that space and putting out $2,000 every year and then not selling again for 10 months. The middle is still a bit of a disaster, but I've been working on it. decided not going to get any large things anymore. I can't deal with them well. I can't pick them up. I can't carry them around. You have some interesting things. Look, Tomy vending machine, Japanese import. You can tell it's for Japan even though it's labeled with US stuff because it's plastic and it's on wheels. You can roll it around because Japan's much lower crime than America. In America, a vending machine's going to be chained to the wall. It's not going to be on wheels where somebody can just roll it out the door. Let's see, what have I got hidden back here? All these golf clubs I never listed. Sports bag I never listed. Just going to lean over back there. Underneath there, you see, that is a 33-inch Gateway VGA monitor. I actually plan on keeping that. One of my good friends gave it to me because he knew I was looking for one, and he has a lot of good stuff. And I haven't got it set up. I want that for old video games. So, and where I want it to go is in this corner over here, next to this arcade game. The arcade game is an emulator setup. I've had this over 20 years now, so the computer actually blew up in it about 3 years ago, and I haven't replaced it yet because I've been sick, but I'm going to do that soon. And it has the best of controls. It has controls you can't get anymore. Like, this is an optical 8-way joystick. They only made these for a couple of years. And by optical, that means it doesn't have any switches on it. It's just got light beams that are broken. And they were really expensive. No games came with them. They were only an aftermarket replacement. And thus, they barely sold. And they're my favorite stick in the world. You can't get them now. When one does show up, it sells for hundreds of dollars. Okay, anything else in the middle? Let's go. I have reclaimed the filming area. For the most part, I still have this stack of stereos. I just need to locate in my various halls from this location the remotes, which are stored in various other tubs, and match them up to the stereos before I start cleaning and selling those. I've got the bathroom accessible again. That had previously been stuffed with golf clubs and baseball bats for at least a year, because I bought those clubs and bats last spring. Now, I could use this area as an office, but if I did, I would lose it for gaming. I don't host a lot of games, but once every couple of months, I'll have my friends come over and we'll set up all the chairs on this big bar and we'll play cards or Dungeons and Dragons or something. And if I set this up as an office, I would lose that completely. There'd just be too much equipment, too many monitors, and everything else. And also, the bar is tall, so I can't sit at a wheelchair there. I got to hop up onto this tall office chair that I have, so I don't think that would work out. I actually am going to have to clear out this whole center section for desk and somehow find someplace to put the packing materials if I'm actually going to get everything down here. All right, I'll be back in a bit with some sales. Okay, let's do some sales. I'm so happy to be back here in my normal filming area, being able to actually show the items and talk about them rather than popping pictures up on the screen because I'm trying to film from someplace else. I feel like that's less interesting, and it takes so much longer to edit the video when I do that. I can spend hours dealing with those pop-up pictures. All right, the first thing I sold was a Garmin. Got this at the Goodwill bins. Probably cost us $2. Sold for $10 same day I listed it. I don't really go to the bins very much, but my daughter wanted to go a few weeks ago. And I finally got around to listing some of the stuff we pulled in. There's a lot of stuff that I need to finally get around to listing. I just, underneath this bar, found this. These are Wargame airplanes for Warhammer Aeronautica, Aero something or other. There's like 10 trays of them. They don't make that game anymore. It's all valuable. I don't know why I'm still sitting on it. I was never going to play that game. But there's 10 trays of those things down there. Probably $1,000 sitting there. I haven't touched it. I will be though. It would be Kathy time if I was somebody else. Stamping up a set of wooden and rubber stamps. Sold for a big $3.59, but still gets them out of my house. I only had 50 bucks in all my stamps. They have broken even recently. Supertramp, indelibly stamped. I am holding this way on purpose since this album cover does have nudity on it. It is in nice shape though, and it's sold for $26.99. I don't know if it's a great album or if the naked lady on the front of it makes it worth more money. I'm not sure which. I haven't listened to that one, but I have another one, so maybe I should listen to it. Kind of proud of this one. This is my daughter found this at the bins. It's just a wooden cigar box. House of Windsor. My daughter found it. Was in her cart. This sold for $10. Almost the same day I listed it. Because it sold yesterday and I listed it yesterday. I sold 4 lots of little Warhammer Daemonet units. These are from the collection, my friend Ed's collection I bought from his estate when he passed away. These were all separate lots. The buyer messaged, and I had about 25 bucks a piece on them. The buyer messaged me saying he really liked them, but they were a little bit out of his price range, offering $70 for all 4 of them. And I said, sure, but what you got to do is you got to just buy them as they are, and then I'll refund you down to $70. I am not wasting my time trying to put together a combined listing, and there's no way to send a combined offer. So, and he did that, and I refunded him immediately, and now his figures will go out. Okay, we got some records. The Fix, Phantoms. One song scratched. I put that right in the title that one of the songs was scratched. So, and then I talked about it in the video because I do videos on all my records now, even the cheap ones. Aldo Nova, self-titled. And Tommy Two-Tone. If you ever wanted Jenny's phone number, it's on this album. So you could play the first track on this album and you would learn what Jenny's phone number is. It's 867-5309. When I was a kid, I actually lived someplace where the phone number started with 867, so jokes about that was a lot more popular where I lived. I'm sure there's a lot of other places where the numbers start with that too, but yeah. All right, those sold for a total of $22 plus combined shipping. Joni Mitchell, Court and Spark, $4.99. Not much, but I didn't have much anything in it. The Simpsons, Mystery of Life board game. Got this from one of my private picks that I can't give details about. At least not about what I paid. Sold for $10.99. You'd think it would be worth more, but there's so much Simpsons merch in it. There was so much of it from the very beginning of the show. So even though that's in mint condition and complete and everything, it's still only $11. Probably cost more than that when it was new. The Turtles, Happy Together, sold for $5.99. When I saw this record in the stack, I figured for sure it would be $1.99 and would never sell, but I was wrong. All right, that's all for that account, but we have 2 stores now. One thing for sure, if you think eBay doesn't reward listing, my 16,000 item store has fallen to nearly nothing in sales because I'm not feeding it anymore, despite having 16,000 items. And it's not like only my new items were selling when I was feeding it every day. No, most of the items that were selling weren't even new. They were stuff that had been up for 2, 3, 6 months, a year. But I've stopped feeding it, and it's almost completely stopped producing. And the reason I'm splitting my stores for multiple reasons, but part of it is so the trading cards will be one store and everything else can be another store, so my viewers don't have to look through 15,000 trading card listings. And also right now I'm running a sale in that store where basically every low-end card I have that I only have one of is buy one, get one free. Most customers don't notice. About 80% of the customers I've bought who have bought something with that SKU label of clearance on it didn't take the free card. But then you got the smart ones who come along. Viewer Chad bought a whole huge stack of them. Somebody else just bought a whole huge stack of sports ones. But most of the customers, they don't notice at all. This one I'm going to have to pop up on the screen. Dungeons & Dragons Wilderness Survival Guide. Very fine condition. Sold for $60.74. Plus local shipping, plus international shipping, because they bought it through eBay International. I'd had that listed for a couple of years because the collection that came out of got listed during COVID when prices were at the peak, and I guess I was $1 too high. And it's gotten marked down again and again as the price on those collectibles have dropped, and it finally sold. An Androck hand shifter. This is still works, but I assume most people would want it for looks. Put in my note in my custom SKU, in addition to location, which was wrong, I put ship in bubble mailer and save money. Apparently this will go under 1 pound if I put it in a bubble mailer, but not if it's in a box, and it's the sort of thing that's not really going to be damaged, especially if I wrap it a little bit better, because there's just nothing to really break. The box isn't going to do much anything for it, so I will ship that in the bubble mailer and save money. And plus, it looks like I had it priced to ship in a bubble mailer anyway, that I just would be throwing it in the trash if I was to ship it priority in a box. Hey, sometimes I make mistakes. This is going out to repeat buyer Keith. This is the second time he bought this. The first time he bought it, I sent him the wrong item. I had another thing that looked like this that had been sitting out on the counter of that video game for like 8 months. And when Keith's order came in, I went and I pulled the item, and I guess in everything I was doing, I also set it on the counter of that video game out there. And then when I finished up, I picked up the wrong one and sent it to him. And that one's on the way back, and he's going to get his refund, and he bought the correct one again. Now, normally I block people who make a return, but that one was absolutely my fault, and he'd been a repeat customer, so no way I'm going to block him. Very, very nice about it. And plus, most of the refunds I get aren't legitimate. They're not because I made a mistake. They're because the person didn't read, couldn't read, or changed their mind. Risk in a big metal tin, sold for $12.14. I got this at a garage sale in the middle of winter when it was well below freezing. They didn't have much good there. Most of their prices were too high, but I did get 3 assorted versions of Risks for $10. Honestly, not even a great pickup, but it's the only thing that was out there, so I went for it, and that paid for all 3 of them. I think the other 2 already sold. Sold another one of those card playmats. Bravest Warriors, Heroes, Cartoon Hangover. Sold for $7.28. These playmats are something else I'm considering maybe bulking out to another seller who has more room. Because I sell about 1 playmat a week, but I have hundreds of them. And they're already cheap, so the shipping is almost as much as they cost to begin with. And they make money, but I don't know if I wouldn't just rather have the space and let them go to somebody else who has more space than I do. And last, we have a Real Brand Surprisimals Forest Honduran Bat. This is one of those kids blind bag type of things. I got most of a vending box of these at a local thrift store for 50 cents each. I did not look them up before I bought them. I figured if they weren't sellable, then I've got stuff for the present bank, or my daughter would enjoy them. But it turns out they were all sellable, and they're better if you open them up and actually list it as the individual creature and not list the mystery bag. This one sold for $7.69 plus shipping. I've gotten as much as $13 for the various Surprisimals, but I think the market is either going down on them or people have lost interest in them. I'm not sure. All right, I think that's everything I've got for today. Thanks for staying with me through all this, and I hope to see you again soon.